You are listening to the Real Men Feel Show with Andy Grant. Real Men Feel encourages men to allow and express all of their emotions. Despite what you may have been taught, all emotions do serve you. Real Men Feel is committed to engaging in discussions that most men aren't having, but you don't need to be a man to join us. The Real Men Feel Show is produced weekly for your growth and enjoyment. Listen to us on podcast platforms including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and many more. You can also watch the show on YouTube by visiting realmenfeel.org/YouTube. Come back often and feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe on iTunes by visiting realmenfeel.org/iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at realmenfeelorg and at facebook.com/realmenfeelshow. All links mentioned in each episode are in the show notes found on the blog at realmenfeel.org. Your reviews, comments, feedback, and participation are welcome during the live show and anytime in our Facebook group, on Twitter, or at realmenfeel.org. Now, let's get into this week's show. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Real Men Feel. This is your host, Andy Grant. In case you don't know, Real Men Feel is the place that reminds men that they're human beings. And as human beings, they have emotions. And they have the full right, expectation, authority, and power to express those emotions. And if you're a regular fan and follower of the show, you may have noticed we're gone for a while, that I had an unplanned break and an unplanned breakdown, I guess is one way to call it. But the last show, we were going strong into April, and then I just stopped everything. I just released a solo show 3 days ago, episode 138. I called it Real Men Talk, and it's just me talking about where I've been. So I won't go into it now. If you're interested, if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out. But coming back now, since I had the break, I'm calling it season 5. And it seems, looking back, anytime I just had my unintentional breaks from getting overwhelmed by everything, I call it a new season. So this is season 5. And I had to bring back a guest who I blew off back in April. Someone was very excited to be here, and I was excited to have him. But he was just that lucky bastard that felt the brunt in the mess. So I'm very glad to welcome, and let's get it. So I want to welcome Coach Matt Dillingham, or Matty D from In the Black Coaching.
There you go. Yeah, it's me, Matty D, everybody, as I'm known on my YouTube channel. You hit me up. So I'm that lucky bastard that guess you're not doing this. All right. I'm gonna give him some time.
Yeah. And you were excited. Like it was cool to connect with you because you were really jazzed. I remember seeing you doing some post that it was coming up. You're gonna be on the show, and yeah. So it's good. So I felt extra shameful in letting you down.
I let this guy down. Damn. It's like, all right, he's doing this thing. I'm just gonna keep moving, and at some point, we'll come back around, and it did. And I was like, cool. Yeah. Now we can do it.
Cool. And again, looking back at what we're going to talk about, the title for the show is Removing Our Emotional Barriers. So, and you were talking, so I have a brief conversation with guests to make sure they'll be a good guest. And, we talked about your willingness to go inside and to dig deep. And then what do you do with what you find? So, and how we cross paths, I saw you post something on Facebook, and it was about, you were stating what you believe to be the main reason why men commit the most crimes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Kind of briefly. Memories, like I did it, and it's kind of like, but yeah, because I do believe that in, at least in the United States with men, we tend to commit the most crimes because at a certain age, for us guys growing up, you're told that you're cut off from expressing yourself fully, and you're only allowed to express yourself in anger. And I don't know how it happens exactly, but you're trained to do so. I believe that's like one reason why. It's like if you're only allowed to express through anger, and you're only allowed to cry through, someone dying, war, and it's gotten a bit more acceptable to cry if from a breakup. But then they're like, all right, cry 5 minutes, we're not getting wasted and go get laid. It's like that doesn't work for everybody. It's not really a great thing. So, yeah, in that sense, it's like if we were allowed to just express ourselves on the full spectrum, the way that us men naturally do, I think things for us in this country would be a lot different. It's also the reason why, we were the most successful at committing suicide. We're just whoever developed society was like, let's look at the weaknesses of men and women. For men, we're going to hook them here. and this is where things are. A long-winded answer to a short question.
So so I've heard you say society a few times. So do you believe that expressing emotions for men is natural?
It is, because if you look at children, both little boys and girls, they're expressive. They're like, "My mom and dad, I love you." We come out like that naturally, okay? And it's only through, observing our parents, how great or terrible they were, our friends, and we get conditioned and told, okay, you're supposed to act like this, you're supposed to be like this, supposed to be like that. That's where that happens. And I remember growing up, and I've had, fortunately, a lot of self-awareness, but I remember growing up and being like, why can't I cry about certain things? And with boys growing up, man, girls can be vicious, but guys, it's like, if you do something stupid, you're getting caught out that moment, that instant, and you're like, oh, let me just bottle it all up, and that's how it is for a lot of us. And nowadays it's changing, but, it's size conditions. You got to be this way. And I remember being told, man, don't be a pussy, and why are you crying, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but it feels natural to me, so I'm going to let it out. I'm going to do that. As far as that goes.
So were you personally, have you ever been called weak and a pussy for expressing your emotions? Is that something you've experienced?
When I went to boot camp for the Marine Corps, they'll call you out. I have, but not really a lot, fortunately, in my life, because for whatever reason, I'm cool with, I'm the type of person where I'm friends with a lot of different people. And for that reason, I just kind of if I was going to cry, I'm going to let it out, let it out. And I guess that people kind of okay, that's what he's going to do. It's fine. Whereas if someone's being picked on, it's kind of what it is. And so maybe a little bit in my, elementary, maybe middle school, but once in high school, it was I could express myself and it'd be fine, but that's my experience. Not every man has the same experience as me. So some people grow up in terrible households where you can't express anything, whether you're male or female, and that destroys you, because emotions are part of who we are, regardless of who you are. It's there for us to experience things, and to cut it off keeps it in there, and that destroys you from within, point blank. And people want to be like, oh, I'm going to hold a grudge forever. I'm like, good luck with that, because all you do is killing yourself. It's been proven medically, scientifically, it does that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of things I was saying, talking to myself in the last show. I talked about, the show's called Real Men Feel, and someone had written to me saying, yeah, but real men don't talk. I was like, we've got to.
We have to. You have to talk.
Otherwise we die, like you're saying. If it's sickness, if it's disease or early onset of diseases and early death, suicide. I mean, I believe all of that begins with emotions inside. Our emotions become symptoms of other things.
Yeah. That's 100%. And the funny thing is about society, especially with men, especially coming from, dabbling in network marketing and personal development, you get taught about mindset. It's all in your mind. It's all mental. I'm like, you're more than just this mind. First of all, where's your mind? Okay, I believe you're more than this physical body. You're an energetic being whose energy, emotion, creates your reality, your life, okay? And your mindset's one thing. It starts there, but doesn't end there, which is why you can focus on a mindset all you want, but ignoring the emotion and trying to suppress it doesn't work. It's like a better example or analogy, you could say, what's easier to do? Swimming upstream and going against the current, you'll get there, but you use up a lot of energy to get there. That's kind of like what's is your mindset. I'm gonna use my mind and resist and just do it, just go forth. Okay, your choice. Or you can go with the stream and get to where you need to be, where you want to be, I believe, quicker, by just feeling your emotion out and letting it go. Or okay, and then you're like, oh, and you find that it was all bullshit in the first place. And that's why I have to take it. Just go with the flow. Feelings are called feelings for a reason, to feel them out, not just to be like, crap, I'm angry, whatever, and judge yourself. Feel it. And again, emotion, I read this in a book years ago. It's short for energy in motion.
Yep.
Happiness. I was listening to a personal development tape or audio years ago, and they can measure your emotions. Anger has a specific measurement energy, sort of sadness, boredom, all this stuff. And like that stuff affects you, like your cells, your body, which is why doctors say you're stressed out, your body breaks down. But if you're always relaxed and feeling good most of the time, you flex everything that's your body because your brain starts there and where you feel it. And it's all one thing. So,
yep. I believe that scales from the book Power versus Force.
Okay.
Dr.
I haven't read
David
that book.
Hawkins.
I need to do that.
Oh, but that's where it breaks it down. And yeah, got the vibration of every emotion and put them on a scale. And
yeah, and you can see it. I mean, here you're like, oh my gosh. And the one for anger, I remember the guy saying it's very, that's remember it's very small and it's very tight, which is why when you're angry, you really are like, you know what I mean? And the one for anger is like that and like all this stuff. And I can go more into how you like and all that stuff.
So if expressing emotions is natural and normal, and everyone, men and women, are doing it as children, how are men taught that that's wrong? Like,
parents, you can have the father that says, no, you can't do that. Some cases it could be the mom. That's one way. Like I said, society and your friends. Because I remember, example, not as suppression, like, this relates to it. I'm a 90s kid, born in the 80s, and I remember in the 90s watching the Power Rangers. I love that show. Green Ranger was the best. White Ranger was like, oh man. But I remember in elementary school, suddenly it became not cool to watch Power Rangers anymore. And I had to freaking force myself off of that because it wasn't cool anymore. You know what I mean? And when that happens, when you get that negative reinforcement, like, don't like this, don't act like that, you will do it. Because like I said earlier, with us men, if you do something stupid, especially in middle school, which is like the hell time, you can call out in class, lunch, whatever's going on, and all that stuff. So it's just, from what I can remember and what I observe, it's that social reinforcement. You see it in movies, if you read books, TV, especially music, apparently, especially with like, listen to like rap music a lot, maybe some rock songs, that gets trained to you over and over and over and over. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to express myself. I'm just going to keep doing it this way. And then once the hormones say, you're like, oh, women, that's a whole different species. Yeah. And then you try to do what you think attracts them and all that stuff. And, it's just one thing builds upon the next. And then when you try to do it, it's a process. It's doable. It's not fun. It's not easy. Is it worth it? Hell yeah.
So are you've mentioned feeling as a boy, and then, your peer group, society starts telling you, no, that actually, expressing that emotion isn't really cool. So are the dangers of being a boy crying different from the dangers of being a man crying?
That's a really good question. You could say there's some dangers. I mean, nowadays, not as much. I mean, it still happens. Boys aren't allowed to cry. Boys are allowed to cry up to a certain age. And that's the dangers of a little boy crying, is that you get taught to stifle that. And that's not healthy, because that goes beyond stifling, and that spills over to other areas of your life. And people don't realize that, like, any emotional issues isn't just like, you have mom issues. It's not just with your mom. That's with issues with other women, men, your career, and it affects you in ways that most of the time you're not consciously aware of, okay? Now, for men crying nowadays, you can do it. It's perfectly okay. No one's going to, like, yell at you. And unless, of course, you post something online and then you get the trolls are like, oh, you're being a wussy. I'm like, then they got issues. You know what I mean? But nowadays, it's more typical for men to cry, let things out, especially for me coming from back in the military, having served in the Marine Corps and the reserves. PTSD, and the suicide rate was serious. And they're like, you need to come talk to us. You have a problem. Come talk to us. And it's getting better. But you still have so many veterans, regardless of the brands, taking their life because we're not taught to express ourselves. I remember doing this when I was a teenager. Like, I don't know why, because now I'm better knowing about it. This also comes to learning how the genders work, learning how men work and women work. You're not taught how men are, to a certain degree you are. You're not taught to, like, for me, I know for a lot of guys, before you're ready to speak, you need time for everyone to just sit with it and think and process it, let it marinate, and then you can speak. What I did as a teenager was just like, not say shit at all for a while and keep to myself. And then my parents could know, but eventually I got out of that somehow. Not too sure how I did. But we got to be taught that, like, all right, if you're not ready to speak, marinate, think about it, do what you got to do, and then let's talk when you're ready versus not saying shit, because that's something that's really hard to break because you get so used to that. You're like, I'm fine, don't worry about it, leave me alone. And you're like, okay, do what you got to do. But you got to let it out. Emotions like were meant to be expressed, right, not internalized forever. So. Yeah,
and I through my own life experiences and working with clients, I've said time and time again that every emotion will be felt. And if you stifle and don't want, like, it'll come out. And that comes out as road rage and abuse and substance abuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so you'll feel that eventually. And if you decide when to feel it, that's much more beneficial than just denying it forever.
Right. It reminds me of something I realized in my teenage years was, what was it? I would say, like, you can deal with the feeling, your issues, your feeling of, if you don't deal with the feeling, it'll come out in one of two ways: constructively or deconstructively, like deconstruct. And the choice is yours, because you don't choose you don't choose the constructive way. It's gonna come out in a way it's gonna like screw up whatever it is you're doing, and people know people tell you, oh, you got some issues, you want to go to therapy? Like, no, I don't need therapy. It's like, you can just deal with it when it happens or in chunks versus letting it build up in the corner and just all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm really interested as an emotional, expressive young man. How did you end up attracted to the Marines and end up, like, getting through that experience?
So that's a story. Give me 1 second. Oh. All right. It's getting darker here. So how I got in the Marine Corps was because I was in college at the time, and I was looking to get money for school. And originally I was going to the Air Force, and at the time I was having a lot of issues with my mother. That was way worse. Right now things are just neutral. Okay. And she kicked me out because I had built a lot of anger up. I remember that night it happened because my mom, when parents divorced, going back to my parents' divorce, when they announced it to us, set us down, my sister did the right thing by crying about it. I sat there and went, oh, okay. I didn't say shit. My parents flipped out. They're like, whoa, he's not saying anything. But my behavior didn't change. I still went to school, got good grades, did what I was told to do, all that stuff. But eventually, like we discussed, it comes out in other ways. And eventually what happened when we learned my mother, she got issues from her childhood and everything else. I started holding in anger because when parents divorce, your parents are racing the way they see fit differently. And my dad would be like, Matt, you're 15, 16, 17, each year older. You should be able to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. My mother was like, no. How are they? How long have had their license? Be home by this, da-da-da. And then so I got he was like, my father, am I the son that's going to be the adult son? Or am I the subordinate of my mom who tells me, I'm the mother, you're the child? Two very different messages. And there was a period of my life where I actually felt confused. I was like, what the fuck am I? Didn't make sense. So long story short, all that stuff, build up anger. We went therapy. Then one night I had something come up and I was like, fuck you. I told her that. And she was like stunned, didn't talk to me for 2 days. We're in the same house, kicked me out like 2 days later with my dad. So I was going to join the Air Force. And the day we go to the Air Force, they were closed, like midday. It was like, I think 2 o'clock or something like that. But sitting outside was a Marine in his car. He's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for the Air Force. He's like, they're closed. How about the Marines? And how they smiled. I went, no. My dad was like, no, we're going to talk with them. And that's how I got in. And he convinced me. He sold me on the idea of being a member of the Field Proud. You learn this. You go to benefits. You went for school. I was like, cool. That's how I got involved. I went in, and when I was in, I didn't do the best I could. It was something I didn't want to do. I acknowledge that to this day. Any guy who's been overseas, I'm like, hey, you're getting more credit. I got promoted to corporal. I didn't want to do it. Like, in the reserves is not as motivating because you're there 1 weekend out of the month, and the rest of the month you're there doing what you want. Whereas you active duty, you're under more strict rules. So with us, a lot of us were like, I hate this shit, this is stupid. And the thing that made it bad about getting promoted, the joke was, you get to Lance Corporal, or some people joked it as, you'll be a Lance Terminal, meaning I'll be Lance Corporal for life, which is only an E3. And when we saw people get promoted to being an NCO at E4 or above, they weren't really prepared for it, because if you're going to bring up leaders, you guys start grooming them early and say, hey, this is what you got to do this, do that, test them, do whatever. This way, when they get to a leadership position, they're prepared, versus you go, you're on your own. If you fuck up, we're going to let you know that you fucked up. And so we would see people get promoted and just get chewed out, yelled at. It was like, okay, the promotion is not worth the bullshit that comes with it. Like, there's this and there's bullshit. You're like, how about no? And so I didn't get promoted, and I got promoted, and I was like, shit. And so I don't regret doing it. I do miss everybody, but I just know that, like, I was not my best. Outside of drill, I was like, want to do things and motivate. But in it, you are who you are. And there's one time I went through a really bad breakup, I was crying at drill, and I got comforted. But, it's not restrictive, unless you're with a jacked up unit, a platoon. But it's changed today, where men can be, or more, it's okay to be more emotional and express yourself. Whereas in the past, it was like, that's not what you do, and all that. So that's how I got into it.
Well, cool. I mean, that's refreshing for me to hear that even in the service, it's still like the jarhead with no emotions. That's kind of fallen away, at least.
Yeah. That's an image, like, it's different, because with the suicide rate being so high still and everything else. Because the problem in the military, what it does for a lot of people, unfortunately, if you go to war and stuff, you come back, it'll fix you up physically. It will not fix you up emotionally, mentally. And that's what screws people up, because they'll come back, arms, legs fully intact. But that's why they go on the drugs, alcohol, beat their wives, do all this. That's why you got homeless vets, because on the inside, and I got friends that have PTSD, like one of them, they struggle just on a daily basis. And it sucks to see them have good times and then just and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, my personal view always has been, the military, takes normal human beings and, converts you into killing machines. And then when they're done, just like, okay, we're done. It doesn't, there's no reversal process.
Unless you stay in a long time, make a plan out of it, and have goals, you can make a great career in the military to be fine. Like, you come in there with a plan and what you're doing. If you don't, you're screwing yourself. Unless stay in and become a high enlisted officer. And also, if you go the officer route and stay a long time, once you leave, you're taken care of. But if you don't do that, know what you're doing, they treat you like a prostitute, pay for your time, but as soon as you're done, get the fuck out of my house. Peace.
Why do you think men are told that it's somehow wrong to be vulnerable?
Why do I think? Because no one likes to feel vulnerable. Who the fuck wants to feel sad? Because when you feel sad, do you feel like you can take it in the world and change your life? No. But when you feel angry, even if you're crying at the eyes and hating life, you still feel like you can do something. Okay? And, I think it's one thing is, and I think men, we're just naturally inclined to like, we've been taught to be the ones to go out and fight because we're just bigger, naturally stronger, and faster physically. So I think from, a survival perspective, you can't be in your feelings all the time. You gotta learn how to, like, kind of shut it down for a little bit and do what you got to do. There's value in that to a degree. It's when you are told to shut that off that you will incur a lot of problems throughout your life. So it's a good question. I never really thought about that, but for why? But I feel like in the end game, what's happened is society programs you to not be healthy in anything. It tells you do this, that, and you're like, well, this isn't right. And you go against it, it just smacks the crap out of you, whoever you are. And you're like, shit, this really sucks. And you go back line. That's why you have few people that, if they go through the ringer, they're like, oh, I'm free. I'm doing what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, because I mean, we've talked about it, and it's certainly my experience that it gets passed on. Your buddies say, "Oh, don't cry, don't be vulnerable." Or your dad, any fire. But I'm like, well, why do they say that? And then
Here's the thing: it's passed on. No one questions it because when you're born, you don't know anything. You don't know anything better. So like, okay, it isn't until someone says, "Question this shit. Where does it come from?" And you go, "I don't really know. It's just what I've been taught."
Yeah.
Why? I don't know, man. It's just we're taught because I think there's somewhere up the chain sees how that can be exploited for their own good and not for yourself. Honestly, you know.
So, in your personal experience, or dealing with other men, or clients that you coach, how do you find that emotionally blocked men? How do they deal with women? How are they in their relationships?
A lot of guys, because I have a lot more female friends than male friends for a reason. I just connect more with women. But a lot of girlfriends I've dated, female friends tell me, Matt, you're not like, and I've been to therapy too. Therapists are like, Matt, you're not like most guys. You talk, you express yourself. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, to me, this is my norm. Yeah. The rest of the world, no, the fuck it's not. And so for a lot of men, we get stuck in our heads. And when it comes to the women, we don't know how to communicate that and say, I need to just, we still do things our way. We want to do things our way and not want help until we get so smacked in the face. We go, okay, I need some help now. We don't want to do it. We won't, you know, it's just, we're not taught to continue to feel out what we feel and be taught how to express it in creative, in constructive ways. That when you do so, because what we're taught is if we express our emotions, it makes you weak, makes you feminized. You know, you're not a man, you're emasculated. Where the opposite is true. If you learn to deal with your emotions, you become more grounded, and you become more masculine in that sense, and more of you comes out, and you can still be the guy. Because women want a guy. They want that man shit. Like I call it man shit. They want that, oh, we gotta be that man shit. Oh, man shit. You know what I mean? So they want you to be that rock for them because women are more different. They're taught to express everything. They want you to be that rock that's there, you know? Now, you're not always gonna be the rock because you're a human being and you have your moments too, and that's when you need her. But if men are allowed to just feel who they are, we'd be more in our masculine selves, and we'd be more calm, cool, collected, and grounded. And this way, when she's flipping out, what's going on, you can be okay, cool, I got this, I know what I'm doing, and then just go forward from there. So
cool. So do you have any tools, techniques, suggestions for how a man can remove their emotional barriers or get more in tune, let that flow happen?
So this starts off with my coach who's out in New Zealand. She has a book called, which I recommend go and she wrote a book on Amazon. She's a bestseller. It's called Feelings Drive Behavior. And behavior spelled the old English, the British way with the U in there, whatever. Yeah. But it's a good book. It's read because I'm actually in the book, and because your feelings do drive the behavior. And I came to her to get rid of my fear of flying, and we did it over video chat because she's in New Zealand, I'm here in the U.S. And within about 20 minutes, my fear of flying was gone. And it's from this technique that I tell people to do it, and those who do it, like, wow. And if you keep doing it, everything else gets better, and more of who you really are, your abilities get unlocked because it's like, oh, I didn't know this was here. And all you do is, I mean, you can write stuff down and all that stuff. It's great. And that works and burn stuff. But this really gets rid of it. You close your eyes, you get calm, you do a long inhale through your nose and long exhale through your mouth. You do that. And you kind of just like, you know, what am I feeling? Is it anger, fear, or sadness? It comes down to that. If it's not on those three, if it's guilt, whatever, it's fine. Or if you don't know what the feeling is, just go, okay, I'm feeling a sensation. And then you kind of ask yourself, like, where am I feeling the emotion? Sometimes you may feel it's outside of your face. It may be in your head, in your face. A lot of times for me, it's in like the stomach area, chest, whatever. It could be in your thigh. I don't know. And then you kind of put your hand there and you ask yourself, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how does this feel? 1 being not that much, 10 being this is really strong. Or whatever it is, you continue to breathe, long inhale through your nose, long exhale through your mouth, and you breathe and feel out the emotion. You breathe in, breathe love. and you breathe out. That's where the express comes through, okay? You do that, and you keep doing it, and then you ask yourself, okay, where do I feel? So let's say it's at a 7. Now it's at a 4. Good, keep going. You keep going until you don't feel it anymore, and you know you won't feel it anymore because you'll feel this release, like you took off a weight. And I've had some big ones where I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like sitting there like, wow, I've done 3 of those in a row, and I've been like tired. One day I did 10. I ate a lot of food, mixture of water. Now people might say it's meditation. It's not, because I've done it with my eyes open while driving. It's a little harder, but you just get in tune with yourself. You stay with the feeling. You get out of your head. And because when I started my coach, I would talk about what's bothering me, and she'd be like, and she would say, shut up, breathe, feel. I'm like, okay. And when you do that, the emotion goes away, and you'll feel better. And you call it removing core constraints, fears, phobias, things you feel. And this goes to insecurities you may feel, towards women, money, stresses, things that bother you. Like my fear of flying was gone in 30 minutes. So I remember before I got rid of my fear of flying, I had it for my late 20s. If I knew I had to fly, the night before I would try and stay up late and get tired. I get to the airport, my heart's pounding. I'm like sitting there like crap, waiting at the terminal, or boarding, getting there, and like sitting in the plane. I would look out the window. I'm like, okay, because I'd be like, dude, I gotta know if we're gonna take off. And the entire flight, I couldn't relax all the way. And I'd be like, any sudden change, I'd be like, oh my God, what's happening? I wouldn't like have to blow in a bag, but it was just so stressful to the point where I wouldn't relax until I saw us landing. Once you hit the ground, I'd be like, oh my God, I made it. Like my focus from about a day before and day on would be about, please let's not crash. So now I'm like, I look at the plane and go, wow, I'm gonna go fly somewhere. I look forward to it. I get excited. I can fall asleep and chill out. That's when I'm flying. And I did it recently with walking in cold to banks, banks, mortgage officers, all that stuff, and having to walk into business and sell different things. And once that, it was a fear and just overall, it was a fear ultimately, but a lot of anxiousness. Once that was gone, I was like, oh, okay. Hey, what's going on? Dude, I'd walk in the salon and be like, hey, can you make my nails look good, my hair good? I need to look better with my girlfriend. Is that possible? They'd laugh. And I'm like, I would never do that in a million years. A year from now, I'd be like, that's crazy. But since I've let go of that, because I have an outgoing personality anyway, since that fear and shit's gone, more of who I am comes out. And now I can like call on people and talk to people and be like, whatever, let's have a good time. And they're like, oh, what do you do? I do this, blah, blah, blah. And that's just a few examples. So the power that's in it, if you continue to do it, can literally change your life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you have, especially like guys want to talk to girls. And like, I remember like reading all these, the pickup artist books and stuff. And they say, man, you got to fear, just do it over and over and over and over and over and over. And that works. If you want to do it over and over and over and over. Or what you can do is someone can tell you, hey, we're going to talk to girls. Boom, boom. Become present with that emotion, the fear, and dissolve it, breathe and feel it out. If there's still any left, you can test it and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to go talk to that girl. If there's still more, you breathe and feel it out. You keep doing that until it's gone. And you know it's gone when you go, hey, how are you? What's going on? What's your favorite color? Okay, great. And you walk away and go, oh shit, this is great. When you don't feel anything, it's all there. And this can go to trauma. This has been used for with veterans who have PTSD. There's a clip on YouTube you can find. It's called Wounds of War. And it's because all emotion is energy. Like if something keeps coming up for you, like a problem with money, wherever it is, stress, fear, it's coming up over and over because it's trying to be felt and just be dissolved and be put back out. That's why it keeps happening. For what we do is we go, no, I want to deal with it. No, I want to deal with it. No, I want to deal with it. Put a Band-Aid on or whatever, or use my mindset. No, just feel it out and it'll go away. And because of that, you end up becoming more calm. You don't worry about shit. It's great. It's funny, like we don't worry about stuff. And people go, aren't you concerned? I'm like, yeah, it's important. Then not worry, because we have associated worry with worry with meaning I care. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, worrying means you're focused on it not working.
Exactly. But people think about, aren't you worried? I'm like, no, because worrying won't do shit for me. And if I am worried, it's really bothering me. I felt the fear, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna be fine. I just relax, and life goes on.
Yeah. So is this what got you interested in coaching? Just being a client, seeing this fear dissolve? Yeah.
I've done it with people. It's fun. It's fun to do it with them. And when they do it, and they're like, man, I feel so much better. It's cool because it's something that's not I've never seen done. Several, like one other guy, and every other coaching thing, and they tell you how to write down a plan and do all the stuff, and that it works. It works for some people. It resonates with you, but like it's like if you don't deal with the emotional shit that's within that's still coming out, it's all for naught because it's like you're preparing for the race. You've got the best shoes, you've eaten all the right nutrition, done all the stuff, but if you got like a freaking weight on your back, you're not gonna go very far. You'll use all the energy, like, oh, why is this working? Why does it work? Because you're not dealing with the emotional stuff that comes up for you. And then when you do, you realize, I didn't have this problem. This problem was all bullshit. Like, it goes away. You're like, oh, I'm okay now. And like, I have done a lot of stuff with energy work and forgiving and all that stuff. When you let go of the anger you have for someone and all that stuff, your body gets healthier. You become better. You see things different. And to be able to share that with somebody and tell them, hey, you can do the same thing, and they do it, they go, whoa, it's like, yes.
Yeah, I was trained as an energy coach back in 2010, and I was a bit amazed. Like, I've talked to people that have been in therapy with the same issue for years. I'm like, well, then that's not working. Like, continue to talk about something that's not changing anything. But yeah, like everything is rooted in energy. Our thoughts, every feeling, every action. So yeah, you can clear things, and then you take the action, and it's much easier instead of going like that brute force style. Just, I'm afraid of that. Okay, I'll do it over and over and over until I'm not afraid of it. Well, yeah, that works for some people, and it would drive some other people to freaking suicide attempts, right? So, so clear it. Yeah, but again, you said it many times. Emotions are energy in motion, and when they get stuck, when we stop allowing that motion, that's when we're really screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And people don't do that because there's the fear of the overwhelm, as my coach would say, and it's true. And because I'll tell you that when you're feeling out your fear, that can really, you get scared, but you stay with it. The hardest one I feel to deal with is the sadness. Because when you're feeling that sadness, you're like, oh my God, like I still do it. Sometimes I'm like, man, this sucks. I suck. Oh my God, how's it gonna be better? Like it's there, but you feel out once it's done. You're like, oh, that was bullshit. All right, I got this.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's get it done.
Yeah. So, on the other side of every negative emotion is better feeling. Yeah.
Yep.
But if you're never willing to go through it, you never get rid of it.
And that's the secret of life. Believe it or not, what we want, what we really want to do, what we really want to feel is on the other side of the anger, the fear, the sadness, the guilt, the bullshit that you don't want to do, that you keep running from. You wonder why you can't get happiness, because we put it there intentionally. And it's there. Once you go through it, you go, oh my God, life's better. Then you have the sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, moments, and donuts. You're like, wow, that's great.
So what are some common barriers that keep men from fully feeling?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. It's the fear of, I'll say the biggest one is the fear of coming off as like, you're too emotional, being emasculated. That's not manly. That's not cool. It's the still thinking that it's unacceptable by society, that if you feel out your emotions, that's wrong. And some guys are like, no, I'm like this. I'm like, you can be tightened up, but we men suffer in silence.
Are there practices? Are there things guys do to keep their emotions right, to keep that fear buried?
Yeah, drinking is one. Drugs, just avoiding it through anything. I would say, like, working out is great. You can do that. Playing video games. It's of putting a Band-Aid on it and not dealing with it, and till it kind of subsides and goes away. And you're like, oh, I'm fine now, but it comes back up at some point, and that's what happens.
Yeah, like I have so many, even growing up, all through high school, like so many male friends that once they're drunk, it's I love you, man. You're the best. I love you, man.
I love you, man.
Never sober, right?
Sober.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's cool.
It's funny that some of the things that people consciously use as barriers to keep those emotions down also will let them come out, and it's almost the excuse. Oh, I was really emotional and crying. Oh, I was drunk. I was high. No, that was really me, right?
Yeah. So it was alcohol talk. I'm like, yeah, it was you, and that's how you feel.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's life for us men. It's funny, you hear about women complaining about us and how like, you guys have it so easy. You gotta deal with this crap. I'm like, don't get mad at me because you're going through body function I can't control. And I think women have this misconception that we have the easier. It's like, no, we have our own challenges. We don't say anything because we're trying not to say shit. Suffering silence, we have our own challenges. It's not easy for us. It's not. We have our own things that we'll never say. Talk to girlfriends about this, friends. I'm like, a guy, most men will not admit they're insecure about money. They're not making enough. They got this. They won't say it because we're so taught to not say anything and just tough it out and act like you got it.
Yeah, it's the oldest kind of survival game of the caveman next door is going to come take all my shit if he knows that I'm crying today. I'm
scared, and this is why I got a gun. And I'm like, you got a gun for safety, right? But it's crazy, man. Because I can say this: there's nothing like, not the right words. It really, really sucks when you got goals, ambitions, dreams. You want to do shit. You're doing stuff. You're working out, and that insecurity feeling comes up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, I suck. This is terrible. Why do I feel like this? Like, why can't I get this? I don't have that. And that drags you to fuck down and holds you back from really going very far. I dealt with that majority of my life, and that was just, I was wondering why. Like, why can't I get so far? Like, why can't I get the girls I want? And people tell me, oh, you're so handsome. You can get the girls I want. Like, really? And then wouldn't really talk to women and all this stuff, and let things hold me back, and not knowing why, like being held back by some invisible chain. I'll let you go so far and you stop. That's like the shittiest thing to not know how to deal with. Like, you can feel it, can't see it, you can't touch it, but you know it's there, and just you're like, why do I only go so far? Why? What's wrong with me? Like, that's the worst thoughts, and like, it's bad.
So ideally, we've talked about what keeps us down and the fears of being emotional, but ideally, how do we as men deal with emotions? Ideally,
the best way, let's grab it. You sit there with it, you breathe and feel it out. It's not going to go away in 5 minutes. It may take you 50 minutes. Shit. There's one time it took me an hour. I don't care. I'm going to get through this shit because I know that once I'm done with this feeling, the rainbows and everything else is right there. Yeah. And that's what we got to do. We got to be told that it's okay to feel how you feel. Don't judge yourself. It's just the emotions, just energy, it's just anger, whatever. Breathe and feel it out. Write it down. Do what you got to do. If you're going to cry, cry. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, you got to live the consequences of your actions, not me. And it doesn't help you to just keep it bottled in for some image that's a bunch of bullshit. And someone, if you really, because there's strength and vulnerability, easier said than done. But when you do that, you will know who you are. You'll know who your friends are, who cares about you. And the people that want to make fun of you, fuck them, cut them off. Mm-hmm. And that's where you could say life begins. That's where you see it. Oh, okay, it's not so bad.
Yeah. Because we're emotional beings, and our willingness to feel that, it is, I've been open and authentic and vulnerable, and dozens of videos of me crying over the years on YouTube and shit. And I used to really be afraid of the first comment and, oh my God, how do I dare, do this? And now people, just commend me and talk about the bravery and stuff. And it's still like, right now I feel great. So it's like, I can laugh it all off. But even receiving that back, like, it's powerful. Like, people reflecting that back to you. And, and when I've shared just my deepest pain, I hear like so many people just say, dude, I resonate with everything you fucking said, but I could never say that. And, thank you for saying it and making that public, because it does help people. So
it does. And that's one of the greatest feelings you have. And money can't buy that. When someone tells you, oh my God, thank you, I need to see this, it's just like, you're like, sweet, because you can give the permission to feel it. It's like, it's weird. We never get taught to, like, you don't need permission from anyone else to do something. Just do it, as long as it's not like illegal. It's like we still go from, hey, I'm feeling like this. It's okay. And someone's like, yeah, it's cool if you feel like that. Go ahead and do it. You're like, okay, great. You know, it's just funny how that, like, we still need that permission from somebody. Someone we don't even know.
Yeah. And like in any group of men, the first guy to like admit to like drop that mask and say, man, I'm really struggling with this all the time. Like, yeah, there's just slowly, me too, man. And I've been there. But
No,
we all want someone else to go first.
We're all like, yo, wow, I didn't know. Like, I'm not the only one. Yes.
Cool. So, is there one thing you wish more men knew?
It's a great question, man. Is there one thing I wish more men knew? Jeez. You know, I wish as men we knew that it's okay to simply feel out your emotions. That's it. Feel it. Just feel it, you know?
Cool.
You don't have to bundle it up. Remember, bundle up, keep it in, you know, because growing up, you get reinforced to not cry and shit. And if you do cry, you have to do the whole, like, that mad shit when you're so hurt. You're like, you know? But I wish we knew that, you know, and I've been fortunate enough to have parents who wanted me to express myself. Very fortunate. So again, that's been my experience. Yeah. Cool. And if we were told and taught, express yourself, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. You know, you'd be healthier.
Cool.
Emotionally and mentally. You'd be like, hey, I'm cool who I am. You know, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. That self-acceptance.
Yes, that is a huge thing, because once you know, oh yeah, it's who I am, what I'm doing, you can approach anyone, talk to anything, about anything, and you're cool with it because you're like, cool, and the right people just magically come to resonate with you.
Yeah. Awesome. And wrap this up. I want to start asking and really consciously ending my questions on like really positive notes. So it's my first attempt. So tell me something you're looking forward to.
Something I'm looking forward to. Well, my birthday's next month, so I'm looking forward to that and having fun with that. I'll be 34, so I'm, fortunate to be healthy at my age because people aren't. So I'm looking forward to that. That's one thing. So
cool. And then what's the best way for people to connect with you, find you?
So if anyone wants more help with this, I can take on clients for this. They can shoot me an email. And that would be, I'll make this Matty, DMATTY, @gmail.com. Okay. Or, because I'm very open, they can shoot me a text at 240-418-2646.
Awesome.
More stuff. So yeah,
cool. So I really enjoyed talking to you. The 3-month delay.
All for this.
Yeah. Well, if I had somehow made myself talk to you that night, it wouldn't have been as good.
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad. Thanks for having me on. This is cool. It's like, cool, I'm on the podcast. I can share it. Hey, people, hear this out.
Yeah. You've got a great energy. You got a great sense of vitality and life. And I hope you reach and help a lot of people, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that need it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
there's
the way things are.
There's no shortage of blocked up men.
Yeah.
And people that love them to try to help them
try them out. But and the thing is, like, you can only help someone if they want to. Because man, you can show someone the door and open the door and say, look, on the outside of this door is everything you want. But if they go, and they don't step through it, you gotta let them just bang their heads.
Yep. And saying that, like, that's where I was, for the good, like, last month. I was feeling shitty, I knew I was shitty, and I stopped doing everything that ever made me feel good. And everyone offered, I'm like, nope, I don't want to. You can't help me. I don't want help. And until I'm disgusted enough with that, like I have to find my rock bottom. Go, yeah, I feel like shit. But I'm not going to kill myself. So what am I going to do? All right, now I got to get up and do shit. And it's like I have to like drive myself down to decide that I'm going to live longer. Okay, now we can come back. But yeah, you can't force help, and just for anyone's own sanity, you just can't. Sometimes you got to see people struggle longer than you want to, before they can realize that. Yeah,
that they want it, that they want to get done, and so everyone has their moments of like, I'm sick of this shit, I'm changing stuff.
Yeah,
as if for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll share this one to get your thoughts of this. The one thing I always tell guys, like whoever told you what it was to be a man, whatever it is. Like, were they happy? Like, was that a good example? Are you modeling someone by, or are you modeling someone that was fucking miserable their whole life and depressed and just drinking themselves to death? Whatever it is, like, just realize who taught me this, and does it feel good for me, and did it ever feel good for them?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like, okay, well, were they happy? Most likely be like, no. So then, how's that working out here? How does it make sense to keep doing that if they weren't happy? Are you really happy?
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to like I asked it earlier, and I didn't have an answer, but like, why is this taught? So maybe it is just, nobody wants to admit that they made a shitty choice. So I'll pass on my misery. Yeah, because my expertise isn't being miserable. So I'll tell you how to do that, because I don't know anything else.
In the hopes of trying to like, because here's what it is, and I truly see this better now than I did when I was younger, because my dad would tell me, like, well, your mom's the best can of what she knows. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, when you hear that, people, right? And what it means is people do the best of what they know, meaning if that's all they know, that's what they're doing the best with. Even if it's like the dumbest, stupid, shittiest thing, when you take a step back and look at it from like it's a different bottle of water, you go, okay, that makes sense. Because that's all they know. If they knew something different that was better and healthier, they would do it, but they don't. Yeah. And the problem is, it's hard to see that when you're in the thick of it and you're still angry at them. But when you let go of that crap, you can go, okay, I see what they're doing. It's still stupid, but that makes sense now. They're doing the best can of what they know, and they're not choosing anything else. So that's what it is. So.
Yeah, really. Like the ability to see that, that's there or like that. It's my best idea at the time. And an hour later, I realized, wow, what a stupid idea that was. But everyone's doing, it's the best everyone can do in that moment. And and by, that mindset, that worldview makes life a lot easier, I find.
Yeah, because you see things and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Moving on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's the key. Move on. Breathe it, feel it, move on.
Move on. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Matt, for joining us. Again, it was a pleasure to connect. I wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me, man. This was fun. I think I come in again.
Awesome. And thanks for everyone listening, wherever you're finding us, wherever you're discovering Real Men Feel. Give us a like, a review, a share, a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Visit realmenfeel.org. Check us out on Facebook. Send us feedback, and we'll talk to you again soon. And as always, be good to yourself. Thank you for listening to Real Men Feel. Reach out to us at realmenfeel@gmail.com. Learn more about Andy Grant at theandygrant.com. Until next time, visit realmenfeel.org or the Real Men Feel Facebook group and share what you thought of this episode. Please give this podcast a review on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you are discovering Real Men Feel.